All right, buckle up, folks. We're going deep on this Warriors win over the Magic, and this isn't just your run-of-the-mill post-game chat. No way.
We're talking individual player grades, folks, straight from a Warriors expert, along with some stats that might just blow your mind a little.
Mind-blowing stats. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, to see how each player's game, their performance kind of fits into the bigger picture, the story of the season, right? We're going to dig into some of that, uncover those details that, maybe the casual fan wouldn't catch.
Love it. Okay, so big picture, setting the scene. We got the Warriors winning 104-99 against the Magic.
A little bit of a nail-biter, honestly.
Yeah, maybe closer than some people expected, but
Yeah.
Hey, a win's a win, and it snapped that losing streak.
Exactly. Got to break those streaks. And the source material we're looking at today, it's a post-game analysis, really breaks down each player and, get this, gives them grades.
Grades, huh? Like back in school.
Pretty much. And, sometimes these grades, they bring up some interesting points. Like Andrew Wiggins, he led the Warriors with 25 points.
Okay, 25 points. That's impressive.
It is. But his free throw percentage, not so stellar.
Ah, I see. So, why the high marks then?
Well, hold on, because he drew 15 free throws.
15?
15 free throws. That's more than the entire Magic team combined.
Whoa. That's nuts. You're telling me one guy, Andrew Wiggins, got more free throws than the entire other team?
That's what I'm telling you. And think about it, right? That kind of pressure, especially late game, it forces the Magic to play, well, more cautiously. Don't want to foul, right? In fact, it led to Wagner fouling out in the final seconds.
Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. So even if Wiggins wasn't making every single free throw, the Magic were still getting thrown off their game.
Exactly. Disrupted. And, there's this thing called true shooting percentage.
Okay, true shooting percentage. Break that down for me.
It basically, it takes into account those free throws and the three-pointers, so you get a fuller picture of a player's efficiency. And with Wiggins, his true shooting percentage actually pretty solid.
So it's not just about seeing the points go up on the board.
Yeah.
It's about how those points happen, the bigger impact.
Exactly. And speaking of impact, big impact, let's talk about Draymond Green.
Back in action.
And wouldn't you know it, the Warriors held a team under 100 points for the first time. I'm talking since December 11th.
Draymond's defense, legendary stuff, but how did he actually shut down the Magic scoring? Give me the specifics.
Well, look at Paolo Banchero, rookie, but he's been having a good season, big numbers. But against Draymond, 18 points, sure, but he shot 9 for 24 and only got to the free throw line once.
Draymond he disrupts things.
Yeah,
Changes the whole game, huh?
That's the Draymond effect.
All right, now get this. Kevon Looney, 2 points.
2 points, but
15 rebounds and 6 assists. What is happening here?
Now this is where things get interesting. That stat line, 2 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. That's only happened 14 times in NBA history.
14 times? You're kidding me. Who else is in this exclusive club?
Bill Walton's the only other player to pull off that exact combination.
Whoa. Looney, keeping company with Walton, didn't need to score big to make a huge impact. Rebounding, setting up his teammates.
Exactly. Shows you, sometimes those flashy points, not the whole story.
Not the whole story at all.
Oh.
Okay, now hold on. Another almost historic stat here. Moses Moody. 17 points, shooting like a dream, but only 1 rebound.
1 rebound. And this is where it gets wild. If he hadn't gotten that 1 rebound, he would have joined a very, very exclusive club. Or we're talking Rodney White territory.
Rodney White. Okay, you got to fill me in here.
Rodney White is the only player in NBA history to score 17 points without a single rebound, assist, steal, block, turnover, or foul.
So Moody, 1 rebound away from a stat line for the history books.
Pretty much. But hey, we'll take those 17 points.
Oh yeah, 17 points. Definitely not complaining about that. Okay, now, got to talk about Steph Curry. Even the greats, they have their off nights, and it seems like this might have been one of those for Steph.
His shooting definitely wasn't as sharp as usual, but, he still put up 24 points.
Okay, so not a total disaster, but not peak Steph. What was different this time around?
Well, our source material doesn't go deep on the why his shooting was off, what was going on there. But even when Steph's not on fire, he still finds ways to impact the game. He's a threat, period. Defense has got to watch him, got to count for him, and that opens things up for everyone else.
Yeah, plus Steph's great at getting to the free throw line. So even if those three-pointers aren't falling, he's still racking up points, keeping the defense on their toes.
Exactly. Can't ignore him, even on an off night.
All right, so we've covered some of the big names, the standout performances. What about the rest of the team, the folks coming off the bench?
Yeah, what about those guys? Well, the source material mentions solid performances from Schroeder and Podziemski, bringing the energy off the bench.
Energy, that's huge, especially in a close game.
Yeah.
Shows the Warriors have depth.
Absolutely. And it lets Coach Kerr, try different lineups, give guys some rest without losing momentum.
No, the source also mentioned Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Didn't have like a huge impact on the stats sheet, but brought that contagious energy.
Sometimes those intangible qualities, the hustle, the enthusiasm, you can't underestimate that. Just as valuable as points on the board sometimes.
Yeah, setting the tone, getting everyone fired up. Okay, so we've got Wiggins' free throws, Looney's crazy stats, Curry's less than stellar night. What's standing out to you so far? What's got you thinking?
I think this game, it really highlights how many ways there are to win. Different players, different contributions. Right? It's not just about scoring. It's about making those smart plays, disrupting the other team, bringing that relentless energy.
Like a puzzle, almost.
Mm.
Each player brings their own piece.
Exactly. And sometimes it's those less obvious pieces that are just as crucial to winning the game. All right, let's get into these player grades, starting with, Andrew Wiggins got himself an A.
Not too surprising, right?
Yeah.
All those points, all those free throws. What else caught the analyst's eye? Why the A?
They highlighted Wiggins' aggression, attacking the basket, drawing those fouls, just putting pressure, constant pressure on the Magic's defense. That kind of energy, it can be contagious, Seemed like it really sparked the Warriors.
So it's not just the points themselves, it's the way he got those points.
Yeah.
And how that affected the whole game.
Exactly. Next up, Draymond Green. Also an A, no surprise there. His defense was, it was Draymond being Draymond.
Yeah, the Magic really struggled to score once he was back on the court. What'd the analysts say about him?
They specifically called out his ability to shut down Paolo Banchero. Banchero, the rookie, he's been putting up some big numbers this season.
He has, yeah.
But against Draymond, struggled. Scored 18 points, but shot 9 for 24 and only got to the free throw line once. That's Draymond's basketball IQ right there. Anticipating plays, just knowing what's going to happen before it happens.
He's like a chess master out there.
That's a good way to put it. All right, now, this is interesting. Kevon Looney, only 2 points. Gets an A.
Okay, I gotta admit, when I first saw that A, I was like, wait, what? But yeah, the rebounds, the assists, the historical context, it makes sense now.
The analysts made a good point. They said Looney's performance, it reminds us that there's more to the game than just scoring. Consistency, hustle, contributing in different ways.
Right.
That's what makes him so valuable.
And it seemed like the Warriors, as a team, they really emphasized those things in this game. Rebounding, ball movement, creating chances for each other, even if it meant fewer points for any one player.
Interesting point. Maybe Coach Kerr had a specific game plan, something that played to Looney's strengths and exploited the Magic's weaknesses.
Makes you think, what if other teams start doing that too, against the Magic? Could Looney's style of play become even more valuable?
Something to watch for sure. Shows how one player, their unique skills, can really change things up, even across the whole league. All right, Moses Moody, another A. For his efficient scoring, really solid game overall.
Moody really stepped up, especially with Steph having an off night.
Right, they kind of balance each other out. One player struggles, others got to rise to the occasion. Moody was ready.
He was. Okay, let's talk about the players who got slightly lower grades. Gary Payton II, a C for a, kind of quiet performance.
Yeah, I remember watching the game thinking, where's Payton? Didn't see him do a whole lot.
So, not surprised by the C. What the analysts have to say.
They mentioned a few good defensive plays, but overall, minimal impact this time around. Could be an off night, or maybe the Magic just figured out how to neutralize him.
Like you said earlier, chess match, right? Sometimes the other side makes the right moves to counter you.
Right.
Okay, Schroeder and Podziemski. Both got Bs. Seems fair if they had some good moments, but ended up with a negative plus-minus.
Yeah, analysts noted their energy, hustle, coming off the bench. But they also made some mistakes, costly ones. That plus-minus reflects that.
Plus-minus, is it a reliable stat? I'm not sure. Sometimes it feels like it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, it's tricky. A lot of things can affect it that are outside of players' control, lineups, just the flow of the game. But it does give you some insight, even if it's not the be-all, end-all.
Right, one piece of the puzzle. Got to look at everything. Okay, now this one I was not expecting. Steph Curry. C-plus kid.
I know, right? Still scored 24 points.
Exactly. So what gives? Why the C-plus pick?
The analysts, they emphasized that even though, yeah, he scored a decent amount, his shooting was off, had a few more turnovers than usual, they're saying basically his overall impact, it wasn't what we usually see from Steph.
So it's about more than just the numbers on the scoreboard. Efficiency, decision-making, all those things that don't always show up in the stats.
Right, exactly. Even the best players, they have off nights. It's how they bounce back from those. That's what defines them.
Speaking of bouncing back, Buddy healed.
Oh.
C-plus bill, but didn't have a huge impact, stat-wise. I'm guessing this is about that energy he brings.
Bingo. Analysts called out his hustle, positive attitude, kept his teammates going, even when his shots weren't falling. They even said those intangible qualities can be just as important as the actual stats, especially in a tight game.
I agree, 100%. Sometimes you just need one player to come in with that spark, that energy, and it can change the whole mood.
Right. It's about leadership, about believing, even when things are tough. He'll, even coming off the bench, he embodies that.
Okay, so we've looked at the player grades, really interesting stuff, but let's zoom out, big picture now. What are the key takeaways from this game? What's the story here? About the Warriors, about the Magic, about the NBA even.
You know, I think what's fascinating is this game shows how important it is to be adaptable, to be resilient. Warriors, even with Steph having a rough night, they found a way to win. Relied on different players, adjusted their strategy, and got the W.
Like a ship, sailing through rough waters, but they've got a good captain, a good crew, and they know how to adjust the sails to stay on course.
Great analogy. And the Magic, even though they lost, they showed potential. Young team, they pushed the Warriors right to the very end. They're building something in Orlando.
Every team, every player, they're all on a journey. Warriors, they're trying to get back to that championship level. Magic, they're laying the groundwork for future success. These games, they're just chapters in those stories.
And as we keep following these stories, we'll see how these teams change, how they adapt, and what their legacy will be.
Okay, lots to unpack here, but now got to go back to something that really stood out to me. Draymond Green's defense. It was a masterclass.
Oh, yeah. Draymond's impact on defense, it's undeniable. Let's dig into that a little deeper.
It's not just about his athleticism, right? There's something else, something, I don't know, artistic about the way he reads the game.
You're right. It's like he's conducting an orchestra out there, directing traffic, knowing what's going to happen before it happens, just everywhere at once, disrupts the other team's offense, forces those tough shots, creates turnovers. He's playing the mental game just as much as the physical game.
And you could see it. The Magic players, they were getting frustrated, trying to run their plays, but Draymond, he was always one step ahead, messing with their timing, making them second-guess everything.
Exactly. Takes away their confidence, makes them hesitate. Just as effective as blocking a shot, maybe even more so.
He's in their heads, man.
Totally. Psychological warfare, that's what he does. And I think that's what sets him apart from other great defenders. It's not just physical. It's the smarts, the anticipation, knowing how to mess with the other team's thinking.
It's really something to watch. He's not even the biggest guy out there, but he commands so much respect. It's like this aura, makes everyone around him play better, his team, the other team, everyone.
It's true. He raises the level of play for everyone. That's what makes a truly great player, someone who can dominate, yeah, but also make everyone around them better.
And speaking of making everyone better, Buddy Hield's energy. Might seem like a small thing, but I think it had a big impact on the Warriors.
Definitely. We've talked about the mental game, right? Hield's enthusiasm, it was like a shot of adrenaline for the Warriors. Even when his shots weren't going in, he was hustling, encouraging his teammates, never gave up.
He was like the cheerleader, but also the spark plug. Kept their energy up, kept them focused.
Right, and that kind of leadership, that positivity, it can be crucial in a close game. Lifts your team, maybe gets the other team down a little.
It's about creating that winning culture, that belief that you can overcome anything. Hield, even coming off the bench, he showed that.
Absolutely. Shows that every player, no matter what their role is, can make a difference. Okay, we've talked about a lot, mental game, unsung heroes, those individual moments of brilliance. But let's zoom out again. Big picture, what does this Warriors win tell us? About their season, their potential, where they stand in the NBA. I think this win, even though it wasn't perfect, It shows that the Warriors are making progress, still figuring things out, trying to find that consistency, that championship swagger. But there are moments, flashes of brilliance that remind us why they're such an exciting team.
Like they're rediscovering themselves.
Yeah.
Rekindling that fire.
Exactly. They're not quite there yet, but they're on the right track. If they can stay healthy, keep growing as a team, and use all that individual talent they have, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs.
It's a journey. Every season is. Growth, evolution. And the Warriors, with their veterans, their young guys, they're writing a new chapter in their story.
And it's going to be fun to watch how that story unfolds.
Now, before we get to our last segment, I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, I think. The human element. These players, the coaches, they're not just robots, right? They're people with emotions, dreams, vulnerabilities. We got to remember that.
I agree 100%. It's easy to get caught up in the stats, the strategies, who wins, who loses. But it's people trying to be their best, pushing their limits, facing challenges together.
That's what makes sports so compelling, I think.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of life, right? The good, the bad, the highs, the lows.
Right. And when we talk about basketball, we got to remember that. These players, they're not just athletes, they're people, each with their own journey.
All right, in our last segment, we're going to explore some of those individual journeys a little deeper. The players who didn't get much playing time, whose stories don't always get told.
Looking forward to that. Those hidden narratives, they add so much to the story of the NBA.
Stay tuned, folks. We've got some final thoughts and analysis coming up. We'll wrap up our deep dive into this game and explore those human stories that make basketball so much more than just a game. All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Warriors' win, I want to shift gears a bit. Talk about some of the players who didn't get as much attention this game.
Yeah, it's easy to focus on the big names, the highlight reel plays, right? But every player on that roster, they have a story, a journey, a role to play.
Exactly, and sometimes those players who don't get as much playing time, their stories are just as interesting. Like the source mentions a bunch of guys who didn't play at all in this game. Kyle Anderson, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Lindy Waters III, Jonathan Kuminga, Jackson Rowe, Pat Spencer.
And you look at those names, you see different stages of their careers, right? Veterans like Anderson, he's been around the league, brings that experience. Then you got young guys like Jackson-Davis, Kuminga, still trying to find their place, earn those minutes.
It's like a snapshot of the whole NBA, right? Players at all different points in their careers competing, trying to make their mark. And even though these guys didn't play in this game, they're still part of the team, they're practicing, they're supporting their teammates. That matters.
It does. It's about that team-first mentality. That's what builds a winning culture. Those guys, they might not be in the spotlight this time, but they're still contributing in their own ways.
Makes you wonder what their goals are, what they're working towards, What are their dreams?
Every player, no matter how much they play, they have a story. And sometimes those stories, they're just as compelling as anything that happens on the court.
So we talked about those unsung heroes, the guys who didn't get their moment at this game. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to a question we touched on earlier.
Oh, I like where this is going. Hit me with it.
We saw in this game how different players contribute to a win, right? Wiggins with the scoring, Looney dominating the boards, healed with that energy. So the question is, what do you think is the most important thing for a winning team?
Man, people have been debating that forever. Is it star power? Depth? Coaching? Chemistry?
Or is it something else, something you can't really measure? Resilience, determination, belief in each other?
Probably all of that mixed together in the right way. But if I had to pick one thing, the most important thing, I'd say it's trust.
Trust. Okay, I like that. Tell me more.
Players got to trust each other, trust the coaches, trust the system, trust that their teammates will be there, that the coaches will put them in the right position to succeed, that if they buy in, it'll work.
Creating that environment where everyone feels valued, everyone's working together, everyone believes in the goal.
Exactly. And when you have that trust, you can overcome anything. You can do amazing things.
Like that saying, the strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team.
Love it. And I think this Warriors win, even with its flaws, it shows that. The power of trust, of working together, of believing in each other.
It's a reminder that basketball, it's more than just a game, right? It's like life. The challenges, the wins, the moments of greatness, the lessons you learn along the way.
Well said. And as we keep watching, keep analyzing, let's remember that. The human side of it all. What makes this sport so great?
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Warriors' victory over the Magic. We broke down the stats, the strategies, the individual performances, But more than that, I think we got a glimpse of what's beneath the surface, the stories, the connections, the things that make basketball so much more than just a game.
Thanks for joining us, folks. It's been a good one.
And until next time, keep those minds curious and keep digging for those fascinating nuggets of information. We'll see you on the next Deep Dives.